Woman accused of murdering pro cyclist Mo Wilson tracked her on fitness app. Prosecutors say Austin, a Texas woman charged in the murder of professional cyclist Moriah, Mo Wilson tracked Wilson's movements on the exercise app Strava and stopped her car near the Austin apartment where Wilson was staying, prosecutors said. Then, prosecutors say, she shot Wilson 3 times, once through the heart. The last thing Mo did on this earth was scream in terror, said prosecutor Rickey Jones during opening statements Wednesday. You'll hear those screams. Kaitlin Armstrong, 35, has pleaded not guilty to the murder of Wilson, a 25-year-old rising star gravel and mountain bike racer, who had allegedly been romantically involved with the same man as Armstrong. Wilson's body was found with multiple gunshot wounds at a friend's home in Austin in May 2022. A week later, Armstrong fled the country with a fraudulent passport. She was captured at a hostel in Costa Rica in June 2022 and extradited back to the U.S. Armstrong could face up to 99 years in prison if convicted. Prosecutors are not pursuing the death penalty. Wilson had traveled to Austin in May 2022 to compete in a race in Hico, southwest of Fort Worth. There, professional cyclist Colin Strickland texted Wilson to meet up. Strickland briefly dated Wilson in fall 2021, when he and Armstrong were on a short break. On May 11, the day Wilson was killed, she and Strickland swam at a local pool and then had dinner together, prosecutors say. He also lied to Armstrong about his whereabouts. According to a police affidavit, Armstrong had access to Strickland's messages on a laptop at their shared home, according to prosecutors, and she could have determined where Wilson was staying based on data about Wilson's bike ride earlier that day posted on Strava. Later that night, surveillance cameras near the apartment Wilson was staying at picked up her screams. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than. Those screams were followed by pop. Pop, Jones said. 2 gunshots. The casings from those gunshots, Jones said, are a match for Armstrong's 9mm Sig Sauer handgun. Armstrong's vehicle also matches the black SUV that was seen on surveillance footage near the apartment where Wilson was staying that night, prosecutors said, and Armstrong wasn't able to explain why it was in the area, according to police affidavit. Defense attorney Jeffrey Puryear, however, argued the case lacks evidence and that police had tunnel vision and were determined to keep Armstrong in their crosshairs. Armstrong, he said, is trapped in a nightmare of circumstantial evidence. You didn't hear, from the prosecution, that not one witness saw Kaitlin Armstrong allegedly commit this murder. Not one, Puryear said, because there isn't one. After opening statements Wednesday, the prosecution called its first 2 witnesses, Wilson's brother Matthew and Caitlin Cash, the friend whose apartment Wilson was staying at when she was killed. Cash was visibly emotional on the stand when she described discovering Wilson's body, crying as prosecutors played the 911 call she made that day. Prosecutors also played graphic body camera video showing Cash and first responders performing CPR on Wilson the night she died. The trial comes 2 weeks after Armstrong tried to escape from jail while being taken to a doctor's appointment. As officers escorted her afterward she ran, said Kristen Dark, Travis County Sheriff's Office PIO, and injured an officer in the process, according to an arrest affidavit. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than. She made it about a block and a half. Our corrections officers never lost sight of her, Dark said. Armstrong now also faces a charge of escape causing bodily injury, a second-degree felony. A judge ruled October 30 that the prosecution could include that escape attempt as part of its case against her.